Hey, good morning. Good morning, my dear sister Auntie Banke Ekpeleo Ekabosoreto.
God bless you, sir.
Bless you, Marsha. Thanks for being here. So we're just going to continue. We've been talking about the book of Daniel. We're just trying to use that as a word charge as we go into praying. And we've not been able to go past verse 2 of chapter 1. That's what we've been on. I don't think we're going to finish today, but we'll see as much as we can. We're looking at Romans chapter 8, and we started with verse 28. That's what we're expatiating on yesterday. And just trying to understand some things that are set already, some things God has already given judgment on, and it's not going to change his mind. So when we come to the place of prayer, if we pray about things that God has already made his mind up on, then we cannot change it. We can only agree with God. Our prayer must always be such that it's agreeing with the boundaries that God has set. We cannot pray against the boundary that God has set. It's like praying against gravity. Say, God, suspend gravity. God can suspend gravity in a sense, but God cannot cancel gravity, right? There are places where God might suspend gravity, maybe for a purpose. And God has done things, something like that before. Like when Joshua prayed, I said, God, let the sun, he needed more time to win the war. And God held the sun back, right? Because of Joshua, right? That's probably the only incident in the whole of creation we know of that God suspended nature for a man, right? So it's not something God does every day, but it's possible that God can. But God cannot cancel or does not cancel the boundaries that he has set, right? So we cannot pray against gravity per se, and that just tells us about some other things that God has set boundaries on. It's like Moses praying against God, telling God, God, I want to go to the promised land. I want to go to the promised land. God said, hey, Moses, don't even talk about that again. Stop it. Right? God had made up his mind concerning that. So no matter how much Moses prayed, it will not change the mind of God. So there's some things that are like that, which we need to understand, because then it will save us the stress of praying. We can better use our time in the presence of God rather than beating our head against the wall, praying that it will become a door. It's just like David, right? David did everything possible to pray for his son not to die. But God's mind was, forget about it. See, Moses did not hear, David did not hear from God. But once he saw the sign that God has made up his mind concerning this, he stopped. Unlike most of us that will still be doing emotional, pity me. I mean, even people around David were surprised, telling you that it was something that he did out of faith, right? And we're people of faith too. Sometimes we miss it together by being people of the flesh. Christianity is a faith thing, it's a faith walk. It has nothing to do with feelings. So once David recognized that God has already made up his mind in this wise, that his child was dead, he stopped everything he was doing. All the morning, feeling bad, fasting, blah, blah, blah. He stopped it right away. Because he knew that, all right, there's no use wasting my time in this direction. God has already made up his mind in this direction. The son will not come back to me. It's me that will go and meet the son. He stopped. When we don't stop, when we recognize such points, what we're doing is that we're worshiping that thing that we're asking for. Because once you go beyond where God has put a boundary, you are walking out of step with God. You are not walking in faith anymore. You are walking in sin. You are missing the mark with God. That is why that's the importance of what we're sharing here. Because sometimes you are praying and your prayer is, as it were, annoying God. You think it's working something, but it's actually working the opposite of what you think it is. Because if God says this is my boundary and you are still praying about it, then you have missed the mark with God. You are walking in sin, not in faith anymore.